I want to make an argument tonight, not against you, but for you. Because somewhere along the way, you decided you're not good at English, or you're too slow, or English just isn't for you. And I think that belief is wrong. Tonight, I'm going to prove it, piece by piece, like building a case, until by the end, even the doubting part of your mind won't have much left to argue with. Stay with me until the final piece of evidence, because it's the one that changes how you see every failed attempt you've ever had at learning English. And along the way, I'm also going to teach you something real. Small pieces of language woven directly into the proof, so this isn't just encouragement, it's an actual lesson too. Let's open the case. Here's the first piece of evidence. You've already learned one language perfectly, completely, without a single textbook. Think about that for a second. Before you could read, before anyone explained a single grammar rule to you, you were already forming full sentences in your first language. Nobody sat a 2-year-old down and explained the difference between past and present tense. You absorbed it through repetition, through listening, through trying, failing, and trying again thousands of times without ever once believing you were bad at it. That means the actual machinery for learning a language is already inside you, fully built, tested, and proven to work. You're not learning a new skill from zero. You're reactivating one you already own. Here's a small piece of language to hold on to from this first proof. The phrase is pick up. In English, we often say someone picked up a language, meaning they learned it naturally, through exposure rather than forcing it. Say it, I'm picking up English. Say it again and notice that phrase alone removes the pressure of forcing anything. You're not fighting English. You're simply picking it up the same way you once picked up your first words. Now, before we move to the second piece of evidence, I want you to do something small. In the comments below, write just one word describing how you feel right now. Hopeful, doubtful, curious, tired, anything honest. I'm not asking for a full sentence yet. That comes later. Just one true word. Writing it down even briefly makes this less like watching and more like participating. And participating is where real learning quietly begins. Let's continue to the second piece of evidence, and this one might surprise you. Mistakes are not proof that you're bad at English. Mistakes are proof that your brain is actively building something new. Every wrong sentence you've ever spoken was your mind testing a pattern, checking if it worked, and adjusting when it didn't. That's not failure, that's exactly how learning functions at a biological level. A brain that never makes mistakes in a new language isn't a brain that's succeeding. It's a brain that isn't trying hard enough to stretch itself. So every awkward sentence you've ever said out loud wasn't evidence against you. It was evidence that you were actually doing the work. Here's your small language lesson from this second proof. The phrase is work in progress. Say it. I am a work in progress. This phrase gives you permission, real permission, to be unfinished without being a failure. A house under construction isn't a broken house, it's simply not finished yet. Say the sentence again, slower this time. I am a work in progress. Let's move to the third piece of evidence and stay close here, because I think this one might be the most important reason you've stayed stuck longer than you needed to. You've probably been comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You watch someone speaking English fluently in a video and quietly think, I'll never sound like that. But you're not seeing their first attempt, their shaky first sentence, their nervous first conversation. You're seeing them after months, sometimes years of exactly the same struggle you're facing right now. Comparing your day 1 to someone else's day 500 was never a fair comparison, and it was never really about English at all. It was about an unfair measuring stick you didn't even choose for yourself. Small language lesson number 3. The phrase is at my own pace. Say it, I am learning at my own pace. Say it once more and let the phrase actually mean something instead of just sounding nice. I am learning at my own pace. There is no official finish line with a deadline attached, no matter how much pressure it might feel like there is. Now, here's something I want you to do again, and this time, go a little further than before. In the comments, write one full sentence in English about something you've noticed yourself improving. Even something tiny, understanding one more word in a video than you used to. Or feeling slightly less nervous saying a sentence out loud. Small progress is still real progress, and writing it down makes your brain register it as fact, not just a passing feeling. Let's move to the fourth piece of evidence, and I promise, this next part explains something that's probably been quietly confusing you for a long time. You might understand far more English than you can speak, and you've probably taken that as a bad sign. It isn't. In every language a person learns, understanding always arrives before speaking does. This is true for children learning their first language, and it's true for adults learning a new one. Your ears and your brain absorb patterns long before your mouth becomes confident enough to produce them. So that frustrating gap you feel, understanding a video is idly but freezing when you try to speak, isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that you're exactly in the middle of a completely normal stage that every single fluent speaker once passed through too. Here's the language lesson tied to this proof. The phrase is, it's only a matter of time. Say it. Speaking will come. It's only a matter of time. Say that sentence again, slowly, and actually let yourself believe the second half of it. It's only a matter of time. We're getting close to the final piece of evidence now, the one I mentioned at the very beginning. The one that I think changes how you'll look back at every difficult moment you've had learning English. But before we get there, one more comment request. And this one is a little different. This time, I want you to write in the comments one specific moment when you almost gave up on learning English but didn't. Maybe it was months ago. Maybe it was 5 minutes before you clicked on this video. I want you to name it honestly in English if you can. Because that moment you're about to describe is actually the strongest evidence in this entire case. And I want you to see it written in your own words, not just hear me say it. Here's the final piece of evidence. You are still here. After every difficult video, every confusing grammar rule, every moment you felt embarrassed trying to speak, every time you compared yourself unfairly to someone further along than you, you are still here, right now, listening, trying, willing to say sentences out loud in a language that once felt completely impossible. That single fact that you didn't quit is worth more than any grammar chart or vocabulary list could ever prove. People who were never going to learn English simply stopped showing up long ago. You didn't. That's not a small detail. That's the entire verdict. Final small language lesson for tonight. The phrase is showing up. Say it. I keep showing up. Say it once more, firmly. Like you're stating a simple fact about yourself because you are. I keep showing up. Let's put the whole case together now because I think seeing it as a complete argument, rather than 5 separate pieces, is what makes it truly land. You already have the natural ability, proven by the fact that you learned your first language without ever doubting yourself the way you doubt yourself now. Your mistakes are not failures, they are evidence of genuine learning happening in real time. Your pace is your own, and comparing it to someone else's timeline was never a fair measurement to begin with. Understanding before speaking is not a warning sign. It's the normal order in which every fluent speaker's brain has always worked. And most importantly, you are still here, which means, whether you fully realized it yet or not, you already are somewhat capable of learning this. So, here's my closing argument, and I want you to actually respond to it, not just listen to it. In the comments, one last time tonight, write a short sentence in English, declaring, in your own words, that you can learn English. Not because I told you to believe it, but because everything we just walked through, piece by piece, actually proves it. Let it be simple. I can learn English. That's enough. Type it and let it be true the moment you write it. Before you go, I want to ask one more small thing of you, the same way I always do. If tonight's video shifted something in how you see your own progress, even slightly, follow Linen English Learnings. So the next video, the next piece of evidence, the next quiet lesson, finds you automatically. Every video here builds on the last, slowly, honestly, and I'd hate for you to lose the thread simply because you weren't following along. I'll leave you with this thought tonight. Somewhere out there is a version of you speaking English confidently, without translating first, without the nervous pause before every sentence. And that version of you isn't a fantasy, and it isn't far away either. She or he is simply a little further down the exact same road you're already walking on right now. Every sentence you say out loud tonight is one more step in that direction. I'll see you in the next one. Come back, keep commenting, keep speaking, and keep proving, one honest sentence at a time, that this case was never really in question at all.